Hi, my name is Harindra, and today the demo is mainly focused on Ueransim functionality and creating multiple Ueransims in the network. Based on the understanding, like Ueransim here in the free 5GC thing, we are using Ueransim is combined of mainly two parts. One is UE and the other sim is GNB, and the other part is GNB. UE is nothing but the user equipment, and GNB is nothing but uh, the base station which will connect as a middle point between the user equipment and the core network. So that is what the basic UE ransom what it comprises of. And right now what I'm mostly concentrating is like how you can check whether a UE ransom pod is running in the core network, in the Vagrant box, and whether it is able to ping the outside environment from UE ransom. And the other thing is like UE ransom is connected to GNB, and that particular GNB is connected to AMF or the core network. So I want to check how this UE is particularly connected to GNB, and just I want to show you whether that connection is established or not. And the next step is like the GNB is connected to AMF or not. So this is other part that I am concentrating on. If after completing all the three steps, I'm just trying to duplicate or multiply the UE ransoms into different pods, and then try to do the above steps again, and then also to check the newly created GNBs in the newly created UE ransoms are able to connect the old existing AMF or not. So this is the main agenda of this particular demo. So coming to the points, the first one is like logging to UE ransom and ping Google. If you remember that in the previous demo, I already showed you how to make the Vagrant box up and to set up all the free 5GC. So right now you're able to see all my free 5GC components are up right now here. Just I click Docker PS, so I'm able to see all the pods here. Now you can see this is my UE ransom that is created because of the Vagrant box comments, whatever I have given. So now I wanna connect to the shell of that particular UE ransom. So for that, I already shown you the command. Like if you don't remember, I will give you that command once again. So this is the command like docker exec -it 2ed25sh. So this is the command. So whereas 2ed25 is nothing but the container ID of that particular UE ransom. So you can see that I have connected and I have logged into as root. And then if you gone through the config files in UE ransom, there is one config folder. If you go to that config folder, you are able to see two files. One is gnbconfig.yaml file and the other one is ueconfig.yaml file. I have already told you like in UE ransom, there are two components. One is UE and the other one is GNB. So these particular two YAML files will represent those two components in the UE ransom. So right now, what I want to show you is like how you can test, how you can check whether you are able to ping Google from this particular UE. So coming to the steps, whatever I want to discuss today, I just shown you right now how to log into UE ransom, and now I'm going to ping Google from here. Just wait a minute, just ping google.com. And if you are able to see, you are getting some transfer of packets from in and out between me and the core network. Me in the sense it's you ransom. So you can, I already told like you can do the same terminal operations from the view even. So I'm just going to view and then in the containers box, I'm just going to UE ransom where I'm going to terminal. So here I'm just pinging google.com. So you can see it is nothing but you are connecting to the same terminal whatever we connected the through the git bash. So you can use both the vice versa, like you can do it both the things from both the ends. So this is how I can clearly show you that we are able to ping Google from Ueransim. So the next step is like whether you right now we want to check whether UE is connected to GNB. So for that you need to run this particular UE cfg YAML file which will specify the particular GNB what it wants to connect. So I'll just go through, I'll just have a walkthrough for this YAML file. Just give me a minute. If you open this file here, this is like the IMSA number, and you have a country code, and after that you have IMA number for that particular user equipment, mobile or any other equipment thing. And here you are specifying the GNB search list. So as my GNB presents in the same pod of UE, so both are in the same pod, so I'm giving the local host IP address. So this specifies which GNB this particular UE wants to connect. So now I can show you that thing. To check whether that particular connection is present or not, you can do it like, see, just go to viewscope and go to Ueransim and open this. This is the log of particular Ueransim totally, so it will have the log of GNB2. So now you come here and you just you try to run the YAML file of UE config. So just give me a minute. I will run that command. So this is the particular command that I'm going to run now. So yeah, if you run this one, it is like UE switches to state and RCC connection established, and these are all the correct messages that you need to get, tag ID 1 and all. So if you go to this particular view scope, here you are able to see one UE signal is detected. So that means an UE is contacted to particular GNB right now. So this is what here it is mentioned, and this specifies that UE is connected to GNB. So now I want to stop that running. So I just terminated that particular file. So now, and the next step, what I want to show you is like whether you can connect to AMF or not, or whether GNB is connected to AMF or not. AMF is a part of the core network which acts as a first point for the GNB to connect. So for that, you need to take this particular command and run it from the UE ransom box. To check whether it is connected to AMF or not, I'm just showing you this is my AMF, and I'm just opening it, and this is the Linux, I mean, this is the log box of this particular AMF terminal. And one thing I want to show you is like what we are going to run here is the GNB CFG file. So just I will have a peek through this particular file. If you go to, just a minute, I will open that file. Config GNB CFG. Yeah, if you have seen this particular file, here it is clearly mentioned that this is the particular amf.org that we are going to connect, and this is the port. So if you go to that particular amf config file, that also I'll open, just a minute. Yeah, if you open that particular amf config file, here you are able to see this is the IP address that AMF is using. So it clearly mentions that this particular AMF that this GNB is going to connect. So right now what I'm going to do is like in ViewScope, I am just opening the terminal of this particular AMF. And right now, if you want, I can show you the IP address of AMF also. If config is the command to check the IP address. So this is the IP address that it wants to connect. Just remember it ends with 12 because I can show you in message even. So if you go here, it will log the messages now. So I will go here, and then I want to run this particular command from here right now. So if you are able to see, it is trying to connect, and it is trying to make an HTTP connection with IP address ending with 12, that I already asked you to remember this, because this is the IP address of the AMF. And if you come to AMF now, there is a connection that is coming from the UE, that is particularly IP address is this one, and that connection is accepted and all is the message over here. So the one confirmation I can also make to you guys is like this is the particular IP address of the UE ransom or the GNB that I can show you, just a minute. Net install tools. So this is to just install the if config command for getting the IP address. So if you are able to see, this is the particular IP address of the Ueransim, and here you are able to see the request is coming from that particular Ueransim. So it clearly shows you that this particular Ueransim is connected to AMF. So now the next step we'll go to, we'll learn how to run multiple uransims with GNBs presented in each of them, and to also learn how each GNB is connected to. So right now we are mainly concentrating on creating multiple uransims, and for that we already created a script where you can just execute it to create multiple uransims. And just now I will explain the in-depth explanation of how that script works and all. So this is the particular start new uransim ue.sh. It is located in free 5gc compose, you can see over here. So this is the script file and I just open it in notepad plus plus. In it the first command is docker run hyphen d. Here I am running a docker container. This is the image that I am using to run this particular docker container, and I am copying UE viewscope.yaml and gnb cfg viewscope.yaml to this particular file locations. Along with it, I am making this pod name as Ueransim 2, and the network I am giving it as free 5gc compose underscore private network. And along after the execution of this particular one, and I am going to run this particular command. This is what this whole command means. And once that is done, I am just echoing that UE ransom is successfully started or something. So I am now, my concentration is how to run this particular shell script so that a new UE ransom is up. So just I will go to terminal. I will come out of this particular UE ransom. Now I am in a vagrant box, and I want to go to that particular location where shell script file is there. You can see I will go to vagrant, and in vagrant I can go to free compose, free 5gc compose. So if you are able to see here, you can find that particular shell script, and you also able to see the files I mentioned in the docker run command are over here, ue viewscope yaml, and the other one is gnb viewscope.yaml. So right now I'm going to run the command sh. So once that is executed, it will clearly mention that UE started successfully. So once UE started successfully, what I want to show you is whether that particular pod is running or not. To check for that particular thing, I already mentioned you the command docker ps. If you run docker ps, here it is clearly mentioned UE ransom 2 pod is running, and this is the container ID, and it is running for 14 seconds right now. So just I will go through the same steps whatever I mentioned in the previous UE, like to check whether this particular newly created UE is connected to newly created JNB in UE ransom, and also whether we can connect the newly created sorry, newly created GNB to the old AMF. So these are the two things that I want to show here. So to check that particular thing, I just want to connect to this particular new UE ransom, which is nothing but UE ransom 2. So to connect to that, sorry, docker exec-it. I already mentioned this particular command to you. So UE ransom 2 sh is connected. So now you are connected it as root, and if you are able to see, you can have a config folder, and if you go to config, you can find the both gnb cfg yaml and ue cfg yaml. So right now what I am checking is like what are all the different things that you, I mean, how you can, you, I already mentioned you how to check that particular UE is connected to gnb or not. So I'm using the same command right now. So take this particular command from here, and I'm going to run it. Sorry, I need to go to the previous location. So now I'm going to run this particular thing. So now it is able to connect. So you wanna check this in the view scope. So here if you go to view scope, just a minute, if you go to view scope, you are able to find UE ransom 2 container here. So I'm just opening it and opening its logs, And right now I'm going to run this particular command once again. So now if you are able to see this particular GNB is receiving a message from UE. So clearly I can say the newly created UE is connected to newly created GNB, and both are present in newly created UE ransom. So the next step I'm going to try is like newly created GNB is connected to old created AMF or not. So for that particular thing to be done, I'll run the same command whatever I have suggested before. Just take this particular command from here, and I'm going to run it from here. So if you check here, there is a positive one, and it is going to trying to establish some connection over here. So I'll just check here once. Just give me a minute. So if you are stopping it and if you run it again, okay, so you're not getting any message in AMF. Just give me a minute. Yeah, you're not getting any message in AMF that we have seen. I can explain you why it happens, and I can show you that particular message to get it. I mean, what to do it to get a particular request to the old AMF. So if you go to the UE, I mean GNB view scope, and here I have given this particular thing, and just give me a minute. Yeah, if you are able to see right now, the message comes to the old AMF, and whenever I click from the newly created Ueransim, I mean the GNB, I am getting a message HTTP connection over here. Previously, I didn't get a request to this old created AMF because here in the GNB GNB CFG file, I didn't mention the AMF address correctly. Previously, I have given AMF1. That is the reason why it has behaved like that. So this is how I can check whether the newly created Ueransim is connected to the AMF or not. So if you go to the document whatever I provided, I have clearly shown you how you can connect to Ueransim shell, and you can ping Google or whatever the external commands whatever you want. So if you are able to ping some Google or any external command, that means Ueransim is connected to the core network. Core network is getting access to the external world whatever you want to connect. So by pinging google.com, that means the connection is exactly made in such a way that a pure network is made. So that's why I'm just checking ping Google here. And then I also shown you how UE and GNB is connected or not, how to check that particular aspect. And then I have shown you how GNB is connected, how to check whether GNB is connected to AMF or not. And I have explained you what are the configurations need to be set in the GNB file to say that what AMF it needs to connect, and in similar way, the configurations required in UE file to say what GNB it wants to connect. In the similar way, I also explained you the fourth one, like how to raise multiple UE ransoms along with, and I mean each UE ransom having UE and GNB in it. And also I explained the complete Docker run command that we used in this particular script file. And apart from it, I also shown that how newly GNB is created, and the newly created UE and newly created GNB are connected or not, and newly created GNB is connected to old AMF or not. So these are the connections that I have already shown you clearly. So if you have gone through this video, I think you'll get all these steps very clearly. So by this, I'm ending this particular demo. Thanks a lot.